If they running their mouth, then they looking for trouble. Ran right up in the knowledge, now they back in the huddle. See, they know we can fight, new content every week. Me and Dr. Clyde, keep on bringing the heat. Now they know they were driven, and they know we ain't quitting. Yoshi and Dr. Winner, keep on bringing the energy. Unity. See, they know we ain't stopping, and they know they got problems, and they ran out of options. If they know got a problem, can't let it go unsolved. Brain breast learner, Afrocentric history, we see tomorrow. Karma's karma, I say what I say, I hear underwater. Till I see I fall off, then I bring y'all up on note. I'm back up on my Clyde winners, 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 Clyde winners. Divine winters, Clyde winters, mind bender, Clyde winters. I'm Richard, ride with ya, master teacher, create masters, Clyde winters. Give respect to the elder, Clyde winters. I know there's somebody out there living for me. I told you somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me. I think there's somebody out there looking for me.
We have to live by God. We have to live by God. I have not done wrong. I have not robbed. I have not stolen. I have not drank. I have not told lies. I have not stolen food. I was not stolen. I have not fornicated with the fornicator. I have not caused anyone to weep. I have not dissembled. I have not transgressed. I have not discussed secrets. I have brought no lawsuits. I am not wrong. I am not struck kill. I am not transgressed the law. I have not been hunted. Except when I'm talking about Uncle John. I have not made extolling. I have not bragged. I have not cursed. I have not been violent. I have not confounded truth. I have not been impatient. I have not cursed against.
Dr. Winter's legacy is a testament to the power of knowledge and the unyielding spirit of exploration. His impact is felt worldwide, as he shares and enlightens at conferences, symposiums, and collaborative projects. His voice is a beacon in the academic world, challenging, inspiring, and always educating. His journey reminds us that the quest for knowledge is never-ending, and its impact is timeless. Dr. Winters teaches us to challenge the narratives and to learn with an open mind. As he always says, B1 is not a group, it's a lineage. Let his story inspire everybody to pursue knowledge relentlessly and to always seek the truth. Now let us welcome in the grandfather of research, the Trill OG himself, the Honorable Dr. Clyde Winters.
Let the researcher do the research. Oh, no, no. I don't get a kick out of telling lies. Let the researcher do the research. Oh, no, no. Spent years studying the times. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Black first, with strength we rise. Yeah, let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Unite in truth and kill the lies. Let the researcher do the research. I'll learn to debunk my own craft. Respect is all that I have. Dr. Wexus. I was sent here to finish my task, to become the greatest researcher, and that's who I am, Dr. Wexus. Yeah. Na 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 na. Let the research gotta tell it lies. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. I spent years studying the tides. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Black first, with strength we rise. Let the researcher do the research. Yeah, yeah. Unite in truth and kill the lies. Be one, be one, be one. Be one to win this fight. We must unite. Stand up for the righteous and let your skin shine bright. Be one, be one, be one. Be one, lessons whispered at night.
With the world in chaos,
what up, though? Hey, this is a very super day. It's a very important day because it's time to be with me. What up, though? What up, Black Lyron? How you doing? Last night, me and Eve, we had a very good discussion. And our discussion last night was mainly about, in a sense, the so-called aliens. Not the illegal aliens. They're a big problem too. But we were mainly discussing, in a sense, the various so-called aliens from outer space and stuff like that. So we had a very nice discussion, and I hope some of you guys will go and check that out. But today I want to talk about reparations, because see, reparations is an important thing today, and it's got a lot of movement because of the of Tariq Nasheed, because Tariq Nasheed, he's popularized that whole idea of, in a sense, reparations, because he had a platform, and on his platform he brought it up a lot, and now you find not only other black liberals, but many of the black conservatives are also talking about reparations, because let's be honest, everybody would like a check. Yes, I know what I'm going to do with my check, but again, in a sense, is that I think we are going to get our reparations, and I can tell you, I think we're going to get the reparations in my lifetime. Yes, I believe in a sense that I'm going to be able to get my check, and when I get my check, I'm going to run down to the Nike store, and I don't even wear Nikes. I'm going to buy me a pair of Nikes. Then we'll get me a bottle of Jack Daniels, Yes, sirs. My father, he would be probably dancing in heaven saying, finally, I'm going to see my son take a drink. But I don't know. I miss my old man. I miss my mom. I miss them because, see, they were good people, My father, I miss him a lot, and I miss my father a lot because my father taught me. He taught me, in a sense, is that as a black man, you don't flee. He told me that you had to always, in a sense, stand up for something, live for something, and you always had to be there for your children, be there for your woman, and this is important for me today. And I tried to teach this ideal. Yes, I tried to teach that ideal to my children, and luckily my sons, they're doing the same thing. I can't think of one of my sons not trying to take care of his family, and I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of them because yes, maybe I would have liked it if one of them would have wanted to be a historian or something like that. But I have 5 sons and 1 girl. But I'm still happy in the sense that they're trying, in a sense, to live a righteous life. How you doing, Dorville? Greetings, brilliant first B1. Yes. But again, in a sense, is that tonight I want to talk about reparations. It's a theme that's very popular, but often many people don't understand why we're asking for reparations. Yes, we're demanding reparations, but there's a foundation for this. This isn't just coming out of nowhere. This isn't, in a sense, just some demand that we're making because the fact, in a sense, is that we want to make this. We have legitimate reasons for demanding our reparations, and that's what we're going to do today. That's what I'm going to do today. I want to discuss that with you. So let's get started. Because FBA reparations, cut the check. Yes, cut the check. I want you to cut the check because hey, give me my money. Give me the money that you owe me. Give my people our money that is due us. Because, cut the check, reparations. That is what we demand. The black, the red, the green. Yes, sirs, and the red, white, and blue. Give me my money. Give me my money. Reparations are the things. You see, a lot of times, people, they've had a lot of opposition to us getting reparations. And the reason that they have opposition to us getting reparations is that they feel that if black people, foundational black Americans, the foundation of this country, if we're given our just due, if we're given the monies that are due us, can you imagine the great things that we can do? Can you imagine the businesses that we can start, how we can renovate our whole communities, how our communities would look, given the fact that we'd have the monies to go and get loans, in a sense, or just have the monies to fix up our homes. So many black people who own homes, their homes are dilapidated. Their homes look really rough. Their homes are kind of looking decrepit, not because of the fact that these black people don't want to have nice homes, don't want to have nice places for their children, don't want, in a sense, to be able to live that great life. A lot of this is because the fact, in a sense, is that they purposely put us in a position. Yes, they put us in a position where we have no control over our things. We need it, in a sense. We need these reparations because it's the reparations that can provide us with the stuff. Yes, Karen is correct. Give us our money. Give us our reparations. This is what we demand, and we need it. What up, though, Karen? But again, in a sense, is that I want to talk about reparations with you. I want to, in a sense, explain to you why we demand and why we deserve reparations. You can go to my Patreon to see the slides. After I do my presentation, my slides will be in my Patreon. Join my Patreon. It's the Patreon that allows me to do this research. It's the members of my Patreon that provide me with the monies to be able to download the latest research, download the latest evidence, download pictures that can make my videos look good. It's because of the fact that I'm supported by the members of my Patreon. Please join my Patreon. Support me. It's only $5 a month. $5 a month. That's less than you spend on coffee every day. I know a lot of you guys get a coffee. Even if you don't go to Starbucks, that coffee costs a lot of money. You see, but I'm just asking, in a sense, for you to join my Patreon and support me with $5 a month. Yes. And those of you who are in my Patreon, instead of joining my Patreon just to be seen and recognized, come on, make that donation. Give me that cash so that I can make these beautiful presentations and slide presentations that can help us to learn more about our history. You can find me on Twitter at Dr. Clyde Winters 8. Also, go to TikTok, and you can see some of my videos. I have videos on TikTok. I have a lightweight video channel. But most of the videos that are on TikTok were put there by Yoshimod the Genius. Yes, Yoshimod the Genius. It was Yoshimod who made that beautiful introductory video. And he's making so many videos. He's written a lot of books, and I'm going to talk about some of his books a little bit later. So you guys will hopefully support Yoshimod. That's Yoshimod the Genius. You can find out more about Yoshimod at yoshimod.gumroad.com. Go there, support Yoshimod the Genius in his quest. And thank you for being on YouTube. But don't just come here to see my lives. I've got over 400 videos here. Yes, 400 videos here on my YouTube channel that deals with every aspect of Black history. Check it out. Don't just come, stay. What is FBA? Boom, 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 boom. FBA is not a group. Boom, 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 boom. FBA is not an organization. FBA is a lineage. A lineage is lineal descent from an ancestor, ancestry or pedigree. As a result, we are descendants of the Black Europeans, Africans, and Aboriginal Blacks who built the United States. Yes, yes, we built the United States. This is our country. We made it. Without us, it wouldn't be anything. We're B1. B1 is acknowledging your Black African ancestry and not heritage. Yes, B1, B1, you're Black first. B1, you're Black and brilliant. Yes, you're Black and brilliant, but you're B1, you're Black first. You see, support me, buy my books. You can order my books at Amazon.com. Please support me. Please, in a sense, get these books because I want you to get these books, not just because I wrote them, but I want you to get these books because these books can enlighten you and make you aware of our great history, not just here in the Americas, not just here in North America, but throughout the world. Yes, yes. My books deal with every aspect of Black history. Get these books so you can be up to date. Get these books so you know the latest research. Get these books. Egyptian language, Afrocentric African historical, linguistics, the dawn of writing, ancient scripts in South America. Buy these books, and especially my book, The World History of the Black Race. The world history of the Black race should be in every home. Yes, in every home of foundational Black Americans, you should have a copy of the world history of the Black race. In this book, it talks about all of our ancient Black civilizations. And this book, in a sense, can help you and your children to know our true history, know where we come from. And when you know where you came from, you know where you can go. Controversy surrounds the reparations movement. As a result, there is friction within the Afro-American community. One group believes that reparations should be distributed to all Blacks, no matter their nationality and origin, within the context of Pan-Africanism. While the other group believes that reparations should be lineage-based. Yes, lineage-based. There has been a long history of foundational Black Americans seeking reparations for enslavement. This began with the idea of 40 acres of land and a mule for each slave family emancipated during and after the American Civil War. Yes, yes, 40 acres and a mule. Just think what we could have accomplished if we would have been given 40 acres and a mule. When Europeans came over here, yes, when the white man came over, they gave them land. When the white man came over, they gave them money. When the white man came over, they even taught them how to farm. But they wanted to hold this back from us. They didn't want to give us the reparations. They didn't want to give us the money they owe us. We're not asking for a handout. We're demanding money. Yes, we're demanding money. We're demanding money because they owe us for labor done and services not paid. Pan-Africanism, FBA, and reparations, cut the check, baby, cut the check. Afro-Americans deserve, in a sense, reparations. We deserve reparations because this is our land. We deserve reparations from the east to the west, from the north to the south. This land we built, this land we made, this land is our land, you see. Find out more about our history in my books. We are not just Africans, the Black Native Americans. In this book, I talk about the relations between Black people and Aboriginal people. It's on the surface level. I got another book that's in more detail. And that book, in a sense, is called Our Culture and History. But get my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877. This is a must book. You should have this book in your home. You have this book in your home, and you can always refer back to it and know where we came from. It explains, in a sense, our tripartite origin. Yes, yes. History of Blacks in America from prehistory 1877 details our tripartite origin, our origins as Aboriginal Blacks, Black Europeans, and Sub-Saharan Africans. Yes, we went through an ethnogenesis that led to us becoming this people today who dominate the world, dominate world culture, baby. As foundational Black Americans, we dominate the world culture. The whole culture of the world is dependent upon us and based on us. Yes, it's based on us. Check us out. Come and listen to my videos. Support me. Support my Patreon. Support my books. Support everything I do. Get to know your history, get to know your people, and that's why I'm here, to share with you our history, to let you know where, who, and what we are. Reparations, baby, reparations. We deserve reparations. We deserve reparations like yesterday, not just today. No, not just today. We deserve our reparations. Give us our money, baby. Cut the check. Why do they owe us? I'm going to tell you why they owe us. They owe us because of the mistreatment that they've done to us. They owe us because the fact is they've been very treacherous, very evil, very cruel, you see. Very evil, very cruel. They've continually been harassing us. They've continually been doing horrific things to us. Yes, yes, yes. Pay us the cash. Cut the check, baby. But at the same time, in a sense, this is our land, from the east to the west, from the north to the south. There are over 100 tribes in California when the Spanish arrived. Yes, 100 tribes. And these tribes were black people like you, black people like me, black people like us. Yes, the Aboriginal people here were black. Then we're in the north and the south and the east and the west. Yes, the Carolina Indians, the Georgia Indians. In a sense, the people in Massachusetts, Connecticut, the 13 colonies. Yes, New England. We were there too. That was our land too. The first British contact with black Indians was slave trading. They, in a sense, wanted to give us gifts. Yes, yes, yes. They wanted to give our Aboriginal ancestors gifts. And the only problem with the gifts that they gave us was that often these blankets that they gave us carried smallpox. Yes, diseases. They also, in a sense, gave us another gift, rum, fire water. And this rum caused an addiction among us. It, in a sense, it led to a demand for guns because it incentivized Indian slave trading. Yes, the first slaves sold in America were Indians, black Indians, selling other black Indians to Europeans to work on their cotton, not on their cotton plantations, their tobacco plantations, their rice plantations. Yes, yes, yes. We sold each other over here, just like in Africa, because of the fact is that we failed to understand that we are one, we are one, we are one. We should be united based upon our identity and our culture as black foundational Americans. Yes, yes. Wars between black Indians and whites were manufactured to produce black slaves for whites. The English, the French, and the Dutch provided the Native Americans with guns, rum, and cheap goods to purchase Native American Indian slaves. Between 1670 and 1720, many black Native Americans were enslaved. The black Native Americans were sold into slavery throughout the 13 colonies, Mississippi Valley, Canada, and the British West Indies. The majority of black Native Americans sold into slavery by whites and Indians. Slave traders were the Choctaw, the Yamasee, and other Carolina tribes. Yes, yes. Many of these tribes like the Mandi, Mandinga, many of these tribes, we've lost their names. And their names have been lost to history because of the fact, in a sense, that when the European came, as he conquered these black Indians, he just made them slaves. And so over time, in a sense, their nations disappeared. Over time, in a sense, their history wasn't recorded. Over time, they were even able to deny that Aboriginal blacks even existed in America. The black Indian slave trade decimated the black Indian community. Between 1670 and 1715, an estimated 40,000 to 100,000 black Native Americans were sold into slavery. In addition, people were dying from smallpox. In addition, people, in a sense, but that's what made tobacco strong. Yes, tobacco was done by, in a sense, the blacks, and these black Indians, they farmed the land. Black Indians like the Yamasee and Pequot became slaves after losing wars. During the colonial days, the Europeans would go to war against the black Native Americans to get slaves. As a result, entire black tribes were murdered, and the captured black Native Americans were made slaves on American and Caribbean plantations. Yes, yes. Black Indians taught Europeans how to farm. Yeah, the European didn't know how to farm. He didn't know what to do on a farm. He didn't know what to do with the land. These, in a sense, were thieves. These, in a sense, were rascals. These, in a sense, were people, in a sense, who were about the business of taking. These, in a sense, were people, in a sense, who were about the business of doing whatever it took to get to be rich. They came to take the land, but they were lazy, and they wanted to make sure that they found some other people to work the land. And that's why, in a sense, they began to kidnap, to murder, and in a sense, hurt Black people, the Aboriginal people. You see, it was the farming skills of the Black Native Americans that made them valuable as slaves in the United States and Caribbean. Sadly, many Mongoloid and Black Native Americans sold the Black Indians into slavery, especially the Choctaw. The Choctaw and Chickasaw held slaves in bondage to work on their plantations, but most other Black Native Americans welcomed Africans into their villages as free men and women. Yes, yes, yes. When you went to a slave auction, you didn't see just in a sense sub-Saharan Africans, because sub-Saharan Africans, you got to remember that the African was made slave very late in the history of the United States. You know, I mean, America got independence in 1776. They outlawed the international slave trade by 1818, something like that. And so then the vast majority of foundational Black Americans have always been here. You know, we've always been here because we're basically, in a sense, they only brought in, about 200,000 sub-Saharan Africans, 300,000 Black Irish. So as you can see, the Black population over here has always been mixed. The Black population over here has always, in a sense, been mixed. It's never been, in a sense, and that's one of the reasons why we have such a long tradition here, because of the fact that they didn't just bring people here from places like Nigeria and all that type of stuff and Ghana. Most of the slaves that came here from Africa were mainly from the Senegambia, and these were mainly Muslims back in the day. The Native American slave trade decimated, hundreds of thousands of Black people sold into slavery. Dr. Joy DeGruy, she wrote a very interesting book, and the book is called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. Dr. DeGruy addresses the residual impact of trauma on African descendants in the Americas. Post-traumatic slave syndrome lays the groundwork for understanding how the past has influenced the present and opens up the discussion of how we can eliminate non-productive attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors, develop to cope and survive the traumatic periods of capture and transport. Very important to understand that. It's very important to understand, in the sense that Dr. Joy DeGruy has written a very important book that we, anybody who wants to know our history should be aware of, because the point is this, is that we had to find a way to overcome this. But again, in a sense, I know that we suffered a lot of traumatic experiences, a lot of terrible experiences, but at the same time, just look at how no matter how bad that experience was after slavery, look at what we did. Look at what we did to make this country great and to make ourselves great. Yes, yes. We suffered a lot of things. We suffered a lot of punishment. Our women suffered rape and misuse. Look at these pictures. Look at these pictures. The vast majority of these pictures is based on the public humiliation of the Black woman. Yes, yes, yes. Look at these Europeans. These Europeans have recognized, in a sense, is that if they really want to destroy the Black family, if they really want to destroy us as a people, they want to, in a sense, beat our women. They want to, in a sense, hurt our women, because it's our women that give us strength to fight. It's our women that give us the fortitude to be able to withstand the traumas of living in this experience over here. And they spent their time mainly trying to destroy our women, because they feel that if they can hurt our women, if they can, in a sense, beat our women, if they can take our women away from us and cause a division between the Black men and the Black women, they can keep control over us. But that doesn't matter. Yes, yes, yes. The experience of slavery was terrible. Often when you went on a plantation, they might have a brother, in a sense, with a stick stuck up from his ass coming out his mouth, or they might have heads. Yes, yes. Many plantations often had, in a sense, the head of a Black person on a pike, or had him hanging right over the entrance into the plantation, and they would leave that head there until it rotted. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine entering a place and there's a brother's head up there rotting on a tree or rotting on a pike? But this is what they did because they wanted to terrorize us. They wanted to hold us back. Today, some black people, due to self-hate and ignorance, hate being black and an African. As a result, they claim to be anything else but black or African. They call themselves Native Americans and Asians. These dumb Negroes are trying to make a revision of black American history. Yes, yes, yes. We are taught a fake history of enslavement in the USA. In this fake history, in a sense, there's claims the foundation of black Americans came from African slaves. This is a big lie. Yes, yes, yes. This lie was taught to us to try to inculcate in us genetic cowardice. What is genetic cowardice? Genetic cowardice is the inculcation of fear of white people while seeing other black people as the enemy as a result of white supremacy. Yes, yes. They want us to hate ourselves and to always be suspicious. And always, in a sense, be wondering if that other black person next to us is going to hurt us. To make you wonder, how can I really try to love this black woman? How can I try to love this black man when they're going to hurt me? Yes, yes. They continually put in us this whole idea that we're going to be hurt. And they have to do this. They have to create this feeling of pain, this feeling of abandonment, so that they can, in a sense, be able to keep us down and be able to build themselves up. In African colonies in the Caribbean, whites were a minority. As a result, they served as lords of the land. They allowed their slaves to inflict punishment over their fellow slaves. This ingrained in many colonized Africans and Caribbean people the idea the white man was a demigod, all-powerful, while the black people who punished as slaves or served in the militias in Africa were the real enemies. Yes, yes, yes. They wanted to have black people inflict upon us pain because they wanted us, yes, they wanted you, they wanted me, they wanted us to always see black people in a suspicious fashion, to always feel that we can't trust our people so that they could keep us divided. In the United States, there was a different organization of the slave plantation. You had master, the white overseer, Negro driver. Yes, very important to understand this. Thusly, the driver might administer punishment upon their fellow slaves, but it was clear to the rest of the slaves he was forced to administer the punishment. Yes, yes. This arrangement resulted from the fact that the chattel slaves in the USA began as Aboriginal people, defeated in war by the settlers, or Black Irish and Scotsmen defeated in wars after 1649 in Scotland and Ireland by Oliver Cromwell. As a result, the slave master could not count on Aboriginal and Baradinaks. Baradinak is the name of those black Irishmen and British who were sold as chattel slaves to punish their kinsmen. The first sub-Saharan Africans that came to the USA were also POWs. Yes, prisoners of war enslaved as a result of slave raiding. Yes, very important to understand. We are prisoners of war. Neely Fuller has taught us, if you do not understand white supremacy, what it is you're bound to not understand anything else, because anything else and everything will confuse you if you don't understand white supremacy. The purpose of studying Black history is not to find out how great you were. It is to find out what mistakes were made that put us in our current situation. Yes, yes, yes. Neely Fuller, our great philosopher. Neely Fuller, our great and genius leader, has taught us what we need to know. You study history to know the mistakes we made and how to make sure we don't make those mistakes again. It is shameful for us to continue to do things that are going to lead to our defeat. It is shameful to do things that's going to lead to our demise. No, 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 no. As foundational Black Americans, we must fight for our justice. We must fight for our independence. We must fight for being, in a sense, treated in a just manner. The African and Indian slaves did not submit to slavery without a fight. Many Blacks ran away from the plantations and formed their own communities. There was 250 slave revolts. Yes, 250 slave revolts. They only teach us about 3, but it was 250 to let you know that we did not, in a sense, just accept slavery without fighting back. We were maroons. And these maroons, in a sense, were camps that we established in swamps and badlands. It was in these maroons that we were able, in a sense, to establish our own homes, a safe environment where black people could run away from the plantation and join other black people in a community. Yes, in a community. Many of these places like the Dismal Swamp, these places were never conquered by the Europeans. In fact, the Caucasians were afraid to go into those things. But see, in these slave communities, we had our own, in a sense, resources. We were maroons. We were fighting for our freedom. We, in a sense, would do everything we could to make sure that we kept ourselves from being, totally humiliated. Yes, and I think that's one of the reasons why. Because of maroonage, I think that's one of the reasons why you find foundational Black Americans. Yes, we were slaves. Yes, we were in a sense terrorized on the plantations, but at the same time, we weren't totally defeated. You see, we weren't totally defeated. We didn't totally just throw our hands up in the air, or just let our shoulders come to. Well, damn you, beat my ass. Just do whatever you wish to me. No, we never stood for that. We never stood for that. That's why we had 250 slave rebellions. We fought back. Claude Anderson claims that Black and Indian alliances were a myth, and that's wrong. Often Black and Indians did, in a sense, unite. Many of them united, especially in the early 1600s, in the mid 1600s. There's a lot of unity between both groups because both groups saw themselves under the pressure. And that's why we find, in a sense, the Seminole War, the Yamasee War. We find in places like Georgia, Florida, and South Carolina, a lot of, in a sense, Black people fighting for their freedom. Yeah, I'll admit, in a sense, as Black people moved to further south, Arkansas, Oklahoma, places like that, then you see it, in a sense, it was a little different there. And the difference there was mainly because of the fact is that these slaves came during the interstate slave trade. And then during the interstate slave trade, the average slave was sold at 6 years old. So if you're being sold, in a sense, from one plantation to another 6 years old, it's not too much you would know about your culture or even your history, you see. Maroons lived in many Yamasee communities. The Yamasee was a tribe of Black Native Americans who originally lived in Florida and southern Georgia until they were forced to migrate north into South Carolina by the Spanish in the 16th century. The Yamasee were part of the Muskogean Confederacy. This was a confederacy of Mongoloid and Black Native Americans. Look at this. As you can see, you don't see any Red Indians among these people. The Red Indians, they got over here, but they came a little late. You know what I'm saying? They came a little late. They make it appear that the Red Indians were the ones, in the sense, that Europeans mainly ran into when they first got here in the 1600s and 1700s. No. The Indians that they were fighting, up until maybe the 1700s were Black people like you, Black people like me. And as you can see, you can look at these Black people, look at their shields, look at their tomahawks. Look at the various dresses. Some were Moorish, some were Hebrews. And I think it's very important to understand, in a sense, is that we had our own culture. We had our own culture when the European was over here. And the fact is that when we were fighting these British and fighting these Spanish people, we had our own traditions, we had our own wars, our own battle techniques, and we were not, in a sense, a people who was just ready to be just ran over. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop thinking, in a sense, that we were a cowardly people. If we were a cowardly people, we would still be a cowardly people today. We wouldn't fight now. We wouldn't be always trying to fight for justice today if we were a cowardly people. But that's what they want you to believe. FBA was not cowards. No, give me a tomahawk. Give me a tomahawk. I know what to do with those Caucasians back in the day. If you just give me a tomahawk. It's very important to understand that. Ben Franklin made it clear that Mongoloid Indians were qualified to live with and interbreed with European whites. Yes, yes, yes. Whites used Mongoloid Indians as a tether group, as in a sense, the first population wedged between whites and blacks. Benjamin Franklin saw Mongoloid Indians as the perfect population to keep black Indians enslaved. They used them as tethers. The poverty of the Mongoloid Indians made them willing allies to help whites discriminate against black Indians and later slaves. Over time, many Mongoloid Indians adopted white attitudes towards blacks and eventually owned their own slaves. By 1824, the Choctaw and Chickasaw held 1,277 slaves. By 1868, these tribes owned 10,000 slaves in Oklahoma. Yes, yes. Many of the Red Indians, in a sense, after a while, they became adapted and they became slave traders just like the Europeans. By 1854, Holmes Colbert was a prominent leader of the Chickasaw, and Peter Pitchlynn or Hatchatuckney was a Choctaw chief. But as you can see, the more these look at these now. These are supposed to be Chickasaw and Choctaw leaders. But as you can see, these were mainly, in a sense, kind of half breeds. These were mainly mulattoes, and that's what they did. As the Indians began to mate with the Europeans, they began to be just as evil, just as cruel as the Europeans from Europe, in a sense. You see, and it wasn't just. And as you can see now, this is back in the 19th century. So you can see that those people today out in Oklahoma who look just like whites who are claiming to be Indians, you can see it was already this mixture, and that's one of the things that really led to a decline in relationships between blacks and the red Aboriginals, because the red Native Americans, what they did in a sense is they mated with Europeans. Their children began to take on the the attitudes, of their fathers. Yes, yes. They took on the attitudes of their fathers, because remember, Benjamin Franklin saw it as a very good way for white people to continue to rule and to maximize their rule in North America by mating with the Indians, because the Indians, in a sense, through a mixture would look, could turn white a little bit faster, and this is very important to understand. And during the Civil War, many black people fought, but they developed during the Civil War a policy called the Black Flag Policy. During the Civil War, the Confederate General Stan Waddick hated blacks. That's Chief Waddick right there. Chief Waddick carried out the Black Flag Policy. The Black Flag Policy did not allow black Union soldiers to surrender. Under this policy, General Waddick had all captured black Union troops and their white officers killed. And this is very important, And, in a way, the Black Flag Policy, it was, in a way, I think maybe it was good to have the Black Flag Policy. Because, that meant in a sense that if you were a black Civil War soldier, since you knew you couldn't surrender, you was going to fight like hell to stay alive. And that's one of the reasons why you find that a lot of black soldiers won many of their battles. Yes, many of the black Union soldiers, they lost very few battles, and I guess one of the reasons that they lost very few battles is that they knew they couldn't surrender, so they had to keep fighting. And this is an important thing. Mongoloid Indians refused to free their slaves. After the Civil War, the U.S. government promised to pay the Choctaw and Chickasaw Indians thousands of dollars so they could free their slaves and give them 40 acres and a mule. Yes, you got to remember, just like Claude Anderson has taught us, there's already treaties that if we had lawyers who would fight for us, if we had real lawyers, and we had some millionaire black people to really support our claims, there's a lot more that we could get from this country that they owe us on a legal basis. But we don't have lawyers that fight for us, At Fort Smith, Arkansas in 1865, Choctaw and Chickasaw Indians were paid $300,000 plus 5% interest for land they promised to free the slaves and their descendants. 40 acres of land for each nation. Yes, yes, yes. They gave these Indians $300,000 plus 5% interest that they were supposed to give to us. You didn't know that, did you? You didn't know that the Indians owe us money. The government paid the Indians money that they were supposed to pay us. Yes. Yes. And then some people might say, well, those Indian communities, no, they exist today. Many of those nations exist today. They owe us money, baby. They owe us money. And it's just sad. It's just sad that the federal government has never forced them, but the federal government doesn't see any reason to force the Indians or other people to live up to the contracts that they owe us. That's why it's a shame we got black lawyers and we got all these black lawyers, but these black lawyers aren't fighting for us. These black lawyers aren't trying to find a way, in a sense, to make sure that we get our true justice. We got these black lawyers, and all they're doing, in a sense, is just being a lawyer. That's kind of sad. We have to be one. We have to never forget, and we have to never forgive. We should be out trying to get our monies. You see, how you doing, Yoshima? Carla. And it's just sad, but they can get away with this. Why can they get away with this? They can get away with this because the fact, in a sense, is that we do not want to really be supportive. See, it's sad that it's sad. And what's so sad? It's sad that the black people with money don't really care about really trying to help their people, because they could be the ones that can support these lawyers. They can make it possible for us to get the monies that are owed us. The Freeman's Litigation for Reparations made clear by Claude Anderson. And Claude Anderson, he's the one who developed the whole idea that we have a unique lineage. These are some of the books that Claude Anderson has written. Powernomics, Black Labor, in a white district, The Dirty Tricks, all these things. Get some of these Claude Anderson books. These books will give you an understanding of what these people owe us, what this country owes us. See, when we're asking for reparations, we're not asking for a handout. We're asking for monies that we're owed, in a sense. Dr. Anderson is the leader of the Harvest Institute. This institute was organized to help FBA find justice. The Harvest Institute of Freeman Federation is a coalition of the Harvest Institute and the Black Indians United Legal Defense and Education Fund. The Freeman's litigation is based on the Treaty of 1866. I repeat, the Freeman's litigation is based on the Treaty of 1866 that required Black freemen and Blacks who were free from enslavement, and the Indians had to provide the FBA with allotments of money, land, education, and other economic benefits. Yes, they owe us money, baby. They owe us money. But they don't want to pay us, and they don't have to pay us because we don't have lawyers who are ready to fight for our claims. Isn't it sad? Isn't it sad to have thousands of lawyers? Thousands of lawyers. There are thousands of Black lawyers, but we don't have anybody. And it's not all the way the lawyers' fault. Come on, let's just face it. Lawyers need to eat too, don't you think? Lawyers need to eat too. That means that they need a good salary. So that means, in a sense, that we should be trying to raise the monies to be able to support our lawyers to fight for those things that we are owed. We're not asking for a handout. We're asking for monies that we're owed, monies that's due us. You see, a white Indian, Eloise Colville, sued the United States government pursuant to the Treaty of 1866. Yeah. She won the case and was awarded $3.4 billion in 2020. Yes, this white woman was given $3.4 billion. By this nigga. I mean, by President Obama. You see, a lot of that money should be going to us. That money should be going to you and me. See, because part of the Treaty of 1866, that part of that $3.4 billion should be a check to you, a check to me, a check to us. And Harvest Institute Freeman Federation versus United States of America sued the Oklahoma Indians, demanding that they be paid monies required pursuant to the Treaty of 1866. The Supreme Court rejected the HIFF petitions. Yes, they rejected them, but we should keep fighting them. But lawyers need to eat too. Lawyers need to eat too. What's the use of having black presidents? Well, he was a tether. He was, in a sense, he wasn't a foundational black American. Obama wasn't no good. That's one of the reasons why we didn't want to fight for Kamala Harris, because Kamala Harris, she was running for president, and she said, "You think I'm going to do something just for black people? No." Damn. See, but the white man has set up a legal system. Yes, Europeans have set up a legal system where if you can get the lawyers, if you can support your lawyers, you can get things from this country that they owe us. I'm not asking for a handout. I'm not begging for no change. This money's that they owe us. Think of that, $3.4 billion. Get out of here. Claude Anderson, the HIFF, is fighting to get these monies for the freemen and black Indians. He requested help from former President Obama, but Obama refused to help the freedmen, even though he helped other people get justice. Yes. Obama helped the gays. Obama helped any damn body, but he didn't help foundational black Americans. Yes. Europeans, they know what they're doing. I'm sorry to say this. I hate to say this, but the tradition holds true. If you find a black man that the white people like, usually that black man is not for us. If you find a black woman that the white people like, usually that black woman is not for us. Sorry, I'm sad. I wish I didn't have to say that, but it's true. Controversy around the reparations movement. As a result, there's friction within the Afro-American community, but it's long that we've been wanting our money. Ever since Special Field Order number 15, that was the first attempt to give freemen reparations. General Sherman issued Special Field Order number 15. Special Field Order number 15 confiscated the property of in a sense, the Confederates from the Charleston, South Carolina coast to St. Johns River in Florida. And under this order, the freemen were provided with 40 acres to cultivate in a mule. This policy led to 400,000 acres of land being distributed to the freemen while President Lincoln was in office. Yes, while President Lincoln was in office, black people had over 400,000 acres, but sadly, after he died and President Johnson came in office, President Johnson, in a sense, got rid of this Special Order 15, and these black freemen lost that land. The next attempt to get Afro-Americans reparations is H.R. 40. H.R. 40 is a bill to simply study the issue of reparations. Again, H.R. 40 is not for reparations, but it's just to bring about a study. It has been before Congress for over 30 years, and still it has not been passed. After revoking Special Order 15 and failure to pass H.R. 40, there was no attempt to give foundational black Americans reparations. FBA is not a group. FBA is not an organization. FBA is a lineage. Yes. All 100 million, 125 million foundational black Americans in this country. Yes. It's over 100 million foundational black Americans. Not no damn 44 million. Get out of here. We've always been the majority here, and we still remain the majority. H.R. 40 is a bill simply to study the issue of reparations. It has been before Congress for 30 years and still haven't been passed, The National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America, and COBRA, founded in 1987, include the National Conference of Black Lawyers, the New African People's Organization, and the Republic of New Africa. But it was the black media that got things moving towards reparations today. Yes, it's the new black media, you see. It is the new black media. But see, Neely Fuller has told FBA that they are prisoners of war. Yes, we are prisoners of war. As a result of white supremacy, we had to continually fight. Yes. The earliest recorded usage of the phrase "prisoners of war" for the foundational black Americans goes back to 1610. Yes, but Neely Fuller, he developed the code. He developed the code for us foundational black Americans as prisoners of war. What is the code? Stop snitching. Stop name calling. Stop cursing. Stop gossiping. Stop stealing. Stop robbing. Stop fighting. See? Stop killing. Yes, 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 yes. And then stop, stop squabbling. Stop backbiting. This is what holds us back. But Nellie Fuller set the code. We got to follow the code, baby. But FBAs are POWs because our ancestors were defeated after armed conflict with first the English settlers in North America. Oliver Cromwell's suppression and genocide of the Waranaks, that's the Black Irish and Scotsmen, who came to the Americas 300,000 strong between 1649 and 1660, and the West Africans defeated by other Africans in war and sold to Europeans during the Atlantic slave trade. Yes, all of these groups, the original Aboriginal blacks, the Waranaks, in a sense, who were conquered by Oliver Cromwell, the Black Irish, the West Africans, all of us, we're prisoners of war. That's why we fight today. See? All three of these populations were made chattel property as enslaved people. Our mixture on the plantation and segregated free Black communities led to the rise of the foundational Black American lineage. Yes, we're a lineage. Thus, the FBAs are born in captivity and oppressed by our captors. But FBA cannot prove white supremacy exists. Wow. Because as prisoners of war, we are officially defined as a people by the white supremacists. Yes, yes, yes. As prisoners of war, it's the white supremacists that define us. Thusly, the mere declaration that the foundational Black American lineage exists is a revolutionary act because it is an identity not sanctioned by our captors. No, they don't want us to call ourselves foundational Black Americans, but there's nothing they can do about it. Because FBAs are POWs, they suffer from cognitive dissonance because of white supremacy's ability to define words. Cognitive dissonance exists because under the system of white supremacy, reality is defined as whatever white say it is. Yes. We live in a system of cognitive dissonance. Yes. The best evidence of white supremacy, according to Fuller, is the failure of words to be properly defined, e.g., race is a biological fiction. They tell you that there's no such thing as various races. But let's look at these pictures. Here's pictures of the Caucasians, going from left to right, Caucasians. In the middle, we see the Africans, or the blacks. Then we see the Mongoloid people. I mean, you don't even have to look at the genetics. You can look at their damn faces. Look at the facial features. You can look at their eyes, look at their mouths, and you can see a difference between Caucasians, Africans, and Mongoloid. Therefore, when they try to tell you that race is biological fiction, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. We do not all look alike. We do not all look alike. You can tell who's from a Caucasian background. You can tell who's from an African background. You can tell who's from a Mongoloid background. Stop it. Stop it. Stop creating this bullshit, these lies, you see. But FBA freed by Emancipation Proclamation, we should have been given 40 acres and a mule through the Special Order 15. The Emancipation Proclamation declared that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states are henceforth shall be free. Very important that you understand what this said. The proclamation declared that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states are and henceforth shall be free. There was black people in the border states, so we know the Emancipation Proclamation did not free all the black people, no. It only applied to the states that had seceded from the United States, leaving slavery untouched in the loyal border states. Under Special Order 15, we read, the order explicitly called for the settlement of black families on confiscated land, encouraged freemen to join the Union Army to help sustain their newly won liberty, and designated a general officer to act as inspector of settlements. The Inspector General, Rufus Saxton, would police the land and work to ensure legal title of the property for the black settlers. In a later order, Sherman also authorized the Army to loan mules to the newly settled freemen. Sadly, all of these provisions of Special Order 15 they were in a sense revoked by President Johnson. You see, let's look at our General Order 13, number 3. The people are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an adequate equality for personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. Yes, yes, yes. This was General Order 13, and this is what, hell, you see, but you have to always remember is that these were mainly for people. The Emancipation Proclamation only helped those people who were in the slave states. It was the 13th Amendment. Yes, it was the 13th Amendment passed 2 years later that really led to, in a sense, after the Emancipation Proclamation, that outlawed slavery forever. Yes, it was the 13th Amendment that really outlawed slavery, and in a sense that really gave us freedom, not the Emancipation Proclamation. Truth in a system of white supremacy is therefore whatever the white man says truth is. This is why most blacks rarely accept a black person as an authority in anything, unless that black person is first recognized as an authority by the white man. This is sad. It's sad that we're always waiting for the white man to decide who and what we should believe and follow. What do they owe us? They owe us at least $18.6 trillion at 3% interest, or $6.2 quadrillion. This was worked out by Kramer in an article he wrote in 2015 and 2018. Yes, they owe us $18.6 trillion at 3% interest, which would come to a total of 6.2 quadrillion. Yes, write the check, Kramer wrote and added, further research is required to estimate the cost of lost opportunities, LC, and pain and suffering, PS. Further research is also required to estimate the cost of colonial slavery, as well as racial discrimination following the abolition of slavery in the United States to African American descendants of the enslaved. Whether the full cost of slavery and discrimination be compensated or only a portion, and at what interest rate remain to be determined by negotiation between the federal government and the descendant community. Yes, yes, yes. Give me a check. Pan-Africanism is the idea that African people, in a sense, are demanding, in a sense, reparations. And COBRA, this is an organization, in a sense, mainly this is a Pan-Africanist organization. And the N'COBRA people, these are people, in a sense, they're Pan-Africanists, and this is some of their belief. They have a 10-point reparations plan. Full formal apology, reparation, repatriation where? I didn't come from Africa. Indigenous Peoples Development Program, cultural institutions, public health crisis, literacy eradication, African knowledge program, psychological rehabilitation, technology transfer, debt cancellation. What the hell is this? Who the hell wants the N'COBRA plan? No, I want me a check. See, but FBA's, in a sense, we don't want just an apology. We don't want any land. We want a check so we can buy our own land, The New Black Media, Professor Black, the Black Authority, Tariq Radio, these are the people who have really been establishing our demand for reparations based upon monetary compensation. Yes, we want monetary compensation. We don't want that N'COBRA shit. We don't want no damn apology. Apology is worth 2 cents shit. I mean, damn, look how many people say, oh, I'm sorry. Then they do the same thing to you over and over again. So words don't matter. Words don't matter. For reparations, we need the cash money, baby, cash money. The FBA claim for reparations based on the Constitution, which will supersede any law made today. During slavery, state law made us slaves. These laws were supported by the 3/5 rule of the Constitution, which classified FBAs, and see, because of the fact that they declared us as 3/5, that means, in a sense, that we are in a sense in the Constitution. Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3 of the Constitution allocated congressional representation based on the whole, quote, the whole number of free persons and 3/5 of other persons. This clause was a compromise between Southerners who wished slaves to be counted as persons for congressional representation, and Northerners rejecting these out of concern of too much power for the South, because representation in the new Congress would be based on population in contrast to the one vote for one state principle in the earlier constitutional Congress. Yes, yes, yes. They knew this, but see, it's the 3/5 rule in a sense that make it clear that that we are in the Constitution. You know, Tariq Nasheed introduced the FBA lineage concept, and Professor Black introduced the term B1. So we have Tariq Nasheed, who said that okay, we should get reparations based on lineage, and we have, in a sense, Professor Black, Truth, who allowed us to begin to recognize that we're B1, Black first. You know, B1, brilliant. B1, Black and brilliant first. Yes, that's who we are, you see. But there's also other people. There's another group of people that's seeking reparations. They're called the African descendants in the USA. And the African descendants of the USA, they also go into court, but they're going to court to try to get reparations for us. But they're trying to get reparations through the international court system, you know. And they maintain that the 388, we are descendants of the 388,000 people who were enslaved as a result of the transatlantic slave trade. They said that since we are unique people born of this land through heinous crimes against our humanity, we deserve reparations. Yes, they do. The Afro-Descendant Institute of Human Rights, this is their mission. The Afro-Descendant Institute of Human Rights is a non-government human rights institute based on Atlanta, Georgia, led by Dr. Mustafa Ansari. The mission of the institute is to provide human rights education and to fight for reparations. The Afro-Descendant Institute of Human Rights, they want to make sure that they're going through the United Rates Monitor. They're going, in a sense, through the UN. They're trying to make sure that we get our reparations based upon our indigenous origin and the fact that this land is our land. This land is our land, you see. Then you have, in a sense, Elena Porter. Elena Porter, she's part of the Indigenous Afro-American Community Congress, you know. This group serves as a vehicle for exposing descendants of Africans enslaved in America to potential academic, social, economic, political, domestic, and international, in a sense, you know, legal representation. You know, the United States Afro-descendants, they want reparations, but they based our demand on reparation on our existence here as the original people here, the foundation of this country. Reparations for the United States Afro-descendants are seeking reparations based on the fact the United States took away, one, the tribal lands of Black Aboriginal inhabitants of North America. Thus, the United States Afro-descendants demand sovereignty and self-determination before the international, not the national court system, but the international court system to assert our rights as the original owners, you know, who were colonized in America. Yes, yes. The Afro-descendants, they're saying that, damn, we were the first one here. Give us the stuff. Give it to us. You know, a lot of the you know, people like at least Elena Porter and other people that belong to the Afro-descendants community, you know, this is a sample of some of the briefs that they're presenting before the international court. And, you know, it's very interesting that that much of the research that they use to go before the international court is based upon my research, because I've done a lot of articles on the genetics of foundational Black Americans and things like that, you know. And, you know, the U.S. Afro-descendants, a lot of times they like to use my work because a lot of my work that relates to the Black Aboriginals has been published in peer-reviewed journals, you know. And some of my peer-reviewed articles include presence of R1 among African Americans, chronology of African Y chromosome R88, you know, did African slaves bring the Y chromosome R1 clade to the Americas? The Paleo-Americans came from Africa. So again, in a sense, many of the arguments that are used on an international basis by the Afro-descendants is based upon my peer-reviewed research. And I've done a lot of peer-reviewed articles. Yeah, I have 50 books, but I've done a lot of peer-reviewed articles in which I go into detail in terms of how we are the original inhabitants of this land and how they owe us money. And here's some of the articles that I've written on this. You guys might want to go to my Patreon, and be able to download these slides, or you can just stop. You can just stop, in a sense, stop the presentation now. Copy down these various research papers so you can understand the peer-reviewed literature that support our claims for reparations. Again, these are some of the peer-reviewed articles I've written on the subject. The United States government and state constitutions and laws sanction slavery. Yes, don't forget that it was the United States government and state constitutions and laws that sanctioned slavery. That means, in a sense, that both the governments and the states owe us a check. We are due reparation from the federal and select state governments, which sanctioned chattel slavery and the inhuman mistreatment of the Ados, American descendants of slaves, and who were the indigenous people of these United States. Yes, yes. These are some of the various indigenous people who were enslaved. We must learn from the past. Every law enacted for American descendants, African descendants of slaves, American descendants of slaves, we need our money. It's time they write a check for what they've done to us. In conclusion, led by the new black media, we are bringing black pride back to FBAs as we fight for reparations. Yes, we have to fight for reparations. Reparations for African descendants of slaves must be a check and land that cannot be taxed, so the government cannot take back what they owe us. Reparations cannot be paid by a law or program because the script is flipped and everyone will benefit but Ados. Just like now they're trying to, in a sense, they want to move away from a lineage-based reparations to using the word black, because they know if you put black or race in any type of legal papers, they're not going to suffice. They're not going to support it. FBA people, Foundational Black Americans, require reparations. It cannot be an educational program. It cannot be social services or land. It must be in the form of cash so that Foundational Black Americans buy their own land and pay for their own education, and etc. African descendants of slaves deserve monetary reparations. The government participated in holding us as slaves. There were rulings of the Supreme Court that also supported slavery. You owe us money. Cut the check. In conclusion, whites brought the hate of black elites in Europe over to the United States. When these whites discovered the Americans were black Indians, they refused to respect black Indians. To form a buffer group between blacks and Indians, whites gave favor to the Mongoloid Indians who were made honorary whites. Whites took black Indian land and labeled them colored people, just like the enslaved Africans. Due to life on the plantation and life in the colored communities, black Indians and former slaves evolved into foundational black Americans, yes, to an ethnogenesis. Maroons and black Indians had intimate relations. The black Indians often adopted Maroons in their communities, and Maroons built their communities in badlands and swamps where they protected their families from attack. FBAs demand reparations. All we're asking for is $18.6 trillion. That's all. $18.6 trillion. That's all we're asking for. If they can give all these monies to Ukraine, and yet they're non-citizens, they're bringing in the immigrants and they're giving the immigrants money. They're giving them debit cards with $10,000 on it, shit like that. Stop all this stuff. Stop saying you don't have the money. Give us our check. Give us our reparations now, today. We deserve the money. It cannot be, in a sense, no, it cannot just be land. We want money, baby. It must be paid. It must be paid. They owe us this money. Give us our money. The history of FBA proves that we deserve reparations, and for our self-interest as B1, Black First. Reparations. Give me my check, baby. Give me my check. Give us the check. Send us the money. Reparations yesterday. Reparations now. Reparations tomorrow. Cut the check. You can go to my Patreon to see the slides. Join me on Twitter at Dr. Clyde Winters 8. And of course, you're on my video channel. Come here. I have over 400 videos on this channel. And these videos, in a sense, can teach you all aspects of Black history, but most importantly, understand that we deserve reparations. You know, buy my books on the Egyptian language, buy my books on comparative linguistics, and especially get my book, The World History of the Black Race. The World History of the Black Race should be a book in every foundational Black American's home. This book should be in your home. Understand, get my book, African Origin of Writing, so you understand our influence, understand who we are, understand what we've done, and it'll help you to know how you can become even much more greater in the future, you see. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for joining me today. And I want you, in a sense, to let other people know about this video. Support other people, and I understand, in a sense, the importance. Yes, the importance, in a sense, of supporting people. Support Yoshima, the genius, and his great work that he's doing. And, get his book for your kids, because it's very important, in a sense, that your kids have literature that can help them to know who and what they are.
Parents looking for a story that would not only captivate your little one's imagination, but would also teach valuable lessons. The Bloom, bedtime story for the young at heart, takes your child on a magical journey to ancient Kemet, where the goddess Sister Andito brings life, love, and healing. Through this enchanting tale, your child will learn the importance of nature, compassion, and positivity, all while discovering the rich history of Kemet. It's a story that inspires self-mastery and love for the world around them, making it the perfect bedtime read for little dreamers. Available on Amazon now, The Bloom not only nurtures young minds, but also supports the FBA community. Grab your copy right now and give your child the gift of adventure of learning. Order The Bloom today on Amazon. Thank you.
Let the researcher do the research. Yes, let the researcher do the research. Dr. Clyde Winters, let him do the research. We need more researchers like Dr. Clyde Winters. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the research. Yes, we don't understand that it takes people who want to do research to be able, in a sense, to tell us our history. Yes, many people have taken my course, The Afrocentric Researcher. You can take it too. All you got to do is join. But if you don't, in a sense, join, understand that it's through your hard work, through your persistence, that you can become a researcher. Yes, yes, yes. Let the researcher do the researcher. You know what? I've written some books that can help you to be a researcher. Those books are Pathfinder, Clyde Winters in Search of the Roots of Afrocentric Studies. Yes, yes, this book is an important book. It'll help you learn all about your history. My other book is Afrocentric Researcher by Dr. Clyde Winters. This book, in a sense, is the most important book that you will find. What makes this book important is that the Afrocentric Researcher provides you with a course, yes, provides you with a course outline that tells you all the things you do to be a great researcher. Yes, get these books, the Afrocentric Researcher, and, in a sense, get my book, Pathfinder. These books are the books you need to be successful, the books that will make you a great researcher. Get these books, but let the researcher do the research, but you can be the researcher too.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4Just Us. That's JUSTICE, 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.
Free your mind, let it let go to the top, drop it to the floor, take energy, come at like whoa, spring water, let it let go. Free your mind, let it let go, tap in, go, let a nigga know, hey. Let a nigga know. Let a nigga know. Energy, got my light, whoa. Spring water, let it that grow. Free your mind, let it that go. To the top, drop it to the floor. Energy, got my light, whoa. Tap in, go, let a nigga know, hey. She told me go and put it in her heart. I told her I don't wanna break it all apart. Let me be a night light in the dark. Hey, my nigga shine bright with the art. Gemini 2 time, it was hard. Got the stars on the line with the charts. Big dog, so I gotta leave a mark. Free your mind, cause I'm not that smart, hey. Energy, got my light, whoa. Spring water, how did that grow? Free your mind, let it that go. To the top, drop it to the floor, hey. Energy, got my light, whoa. Spring water, how did that go? Free your mind, let it that go. Tap in, go, let a nigga know, hey. Let a nigga know.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
Buy my latest book, History and Cultures of Black Aboriginals in America. This is the first book that explains and discusses the entire history of how the original people who lived in the America were Black Aboriginals. These Black Aboriginals lived in many different tribes. They built stone pyramids. They built great cities. They built underwater bridges that linked both sides of the Mississippi River. Buy this book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals. Find out how many of us, most of us, just about all of us, who are blacks, native to America, have Aboriginal ancestors. Get this book. Learn about our history.
Parents, looking for a story that would not only captivate your little one's imagination, but would also teach valuable lessons. The Bloom, bedtime story for the young at heart. Take child on a magical journey to ancient Kemet, where the goddess Sister Andito brings life, love, and healing. Through this enchanting tale, your child will learn the importance of nature, compassion, and positivity, all while discovering the rich history of Kemet. It's a story that inspires self-mastery and love for the world around them, making it the perfect bedtime read for little dreamers. Available on Amazon now, The Bloom not only nurtures young minds, but also supports the FBA community. Grab your copy right now and give your child the gift of adventure of learning. Order The Bloom today on Amazon. Thank you, Hotel.
The only thing that can save you is be one, be one, be one. To fight Cage, you must stay black first.